Welcome to another episode of The Advocates, where we shine a spotlight on those making a real difference in the lives of the voiceless, whether it's animals, children, or our planet. Today, we are honored to feature two incredible advocates, Ms. G. Antonio, the 27-year-old founder of Project Kuna, who rescues, fosters, and finds forever homes for stray animals, and Mr. Roberto Alep Jr., whose organization provides solar-powered electricity and essential educational tools to marginalized schools in remote areas, giving children a better chance at life. I'm Rochelle Rubio, and this is The Advocates, Empowering Voices. Today on The Advocates, we meet Ms. G. Antonio, 27-year-old founder of Project Kuna, an organization dedicated to rescuing, rehabilitating, and rehoming stray animals. Despite not having a formal shelter, G and her team are determined to change the lives of abandoned animals. But first, let's learn more about what Project Kuna is all about. What is the meaning of the word Kuna?
Ang Project Kuna po is basically we rescue po, we rehabilitate, and we rehome mga abused, abandoned, neglected na dogs and cats. Ako po yung nag-name nun. My first two dogs kasi is named Kimi and Luna. So, I combined it and then buo ko is Kuna. And then later I found out na parang ang Kuna pala in Tagalog, parang ano siya, crib o parang cradle ng babies. Kumbaga parang kami yung safe haven ng mga stray dogs and cats.
Project Kuna is an advocacy organization that rescues and rehabilitates stray animals, primarily dogs and cats. They focus on giving them the necessary medical care, love, and attention to prepare them for adoption. They don't have a shelter, but they foster these animals in homes until they find their forever family. When did Ms. Antonio first start rescuing and rehabilitating animals, and what inspired her to start this advocacy?
2023 ako nag-start, January. May dog kasi neighbor ko na napapapayaan, neglected dog siya. Meron siyang parang chain sa neck niya na sobrang higpit na, kumbaga parang under the skin niya na, nai-infect na. So, my mom and I feed the dog, that dog daily. Until naawa kami na parang gusto namin ipa-opera. So, tinry namin to i-share yung story niya sa TikTok. Fortunately, ang dami namang na-touch yung hearts. So, nag-send sila ng help. Nakapag-fundraise kami for her operation. And then, yun, napa-opera namin siya. After nun, doon na nag-start yung sunod-sunod na rescue. Kumbaga parang pag may nakikita akong nakakaawang dog, parang hindi ko mapigilan to help out. Yun, actually hindi ko siya plan na parang palakihin ng sobrang laki. Parang that time gusto ko lang tulungan yung dog na neighbor ko, and then nagulat talaga ako na parang lumaki na siya, sunod-sunod na talaga na parang I want to help out other dogs, other cats. Nasa around 400 dogs and cats na yun na rehome namin, na rehabilitate.
How many people are involved in Project Kuna, and how do they all come together?
Medyo madami naman po. More of volunteers lang po. Hindi po siya ganun ka-long term. Pero yung talagang nandun lang po the whole time. Kumbaga nag-aasikaso po the whole time. Ako lang po talaga. Nagtatap po kami ng mga volunteers to foster yung rescues namin while we provide yung mga kailangan. Like the food, the hygiene, the vaccinations, the veterinary care. So habang hindi pa po sila na-adapt, yung foster families po yung nag-aalaga.
Project Kuna is known on social media for initiating adoption drives. They collaborate with other organizations to organize such events by effectively finding forever homes for their foster animals without a shelter.
Nasa advertising industry po ako. So talaga may background po ako with social media. Gusto po kasi namin i-share talaga yung stories nung mga dogs sa mga nagbabasa sa Facebook, sa TikTok, o sa Instagram.
Their adoption process is stringent. to ensure that their fur babies go to families where they can be safe, accepted, and loved.
First year po namin, 2023, medyo maluwag po kami sa adoption. Yung screening po namin, more of basic questions po. Kaya lang that year po, first few months namin, naka-experience po kami ng mga napapabayaan din kahit na-adopt na. Dinagdagan po namin yung process namin para mas ma-ensure po namin na magiging safe po yung kalagayan ng dog or cat na i-adopt po nila. So, yun po yung iniiwasan namin na bumalik sa street, makawala, o mahuli ng impounding, o baka makuha ng mga, alam nyo na po, madami po nagdo-dog meat. Parang konsensya din po namin kung ano yung mapupuntahang family nung dog or cat.
Despite the high success rate of their adoption drives, there is a dog named Milky who took longer than the others to get adopted. Milky was always left without an adopter during the adoption drives, and one could see the sadness in the dog's eyes.
Naka-7 adoption drives po siya. Different events po yun. Fortunately po, na-adopt po siya last adoption drive sa UP. Yung physical appearance po talaga, medyo tinitingnan ng mga tao. Madalas ang mga tao po gusto ng medyo palbon kasi mas na-associate po nila sa kumbaga may breed, mga Shih Tzu. Mas gusto nila yon yung mga hairy na dog.
With Project Kuna's persistence, Milky finally found a forever home and is now enjoying a happy, cozy life with her new family. Her adopters constantly post videos of her on social media to the delight of Milky's online supporters. Thanks to Project Kuna, Milky has gained a strong following among animal lovers around the globe.
Pag napapada po namin yung rescue namin, hindi po doon nagsa-stop yung responsibility namin. We always ask po, kamusta yung dog, kamusta yung cat. So, sa lahat po yun na 400 dogs na napa-adapt namin, lahat po yung kinakamusta namin madalas. Kung kamusta na, may kailangan po ba silang tulong o ano.
Running such a meaningful cause is undoubtedly challenging, especially when it comes to finances and emotional well-being. How does G. Antonio survive both financially and emotionally?
Nag-rescue po kami Quezon. Minsan naghahatid din po kami, kanwari ang adopter po taga Ilocos o medyo malayo pa po, hinahatid po namin talaga yon Tarlac. Minsan 8 hours po kami kasi kailangan po namin, kunyari going to Tarlac po, medyo mahaba-haba po kasi kailangan i-check po lagi yung dog sa likod. Pag habang bumabiyahe, kailangan po painumin, pakainin, tingnan po kung naiinitan siya. Kaya minsan 8 hours po talaga ang biyahe namin, one way pa lang. Lahat po yun ay pina-fundraise naman po sa followers po. Pag hindi naman po, kanyari, syempre, madalas po hindi naman po enough yung funds talaga. Lalo na po pag pinapavet po yung mga aso. Yung gastos po nun is madalas po coming out of our pockets po talaga.
G. Antonio recalls some of the most impactful rescue operations they've been involved in.
I rescued a dog po in Naiya sa airport po sa Pasay. Medyo big dog siya. Actually, medyo mahirap namin napuntahan yun kasi pag nag-rescue po kami, dalawa kami kumbaga yung nagda-drive po, yung rider ko. Nakamotor lang po kami. Sa Naiya po kasi we have to park pa and then dinala pa namin yung cage. Nag-connecting pa kami and then pagbaba namin doon, akala ko medyo matapang yung dog. Brown daw siya. Ang name niya ngayon is Aki. Kinuha namin sa name nung airport. Nung paglapit ko, akala ko magagalit siya o mag-aangil. Nung umupo po ako sa floor, kumandong po siya talaga sa akin. Kumbaga parang sinasabi niya sa akin na iuwi mo na ako o i-rescue mo na ako. Yun po yung iisang dog na talagang pagpunta ko para bang kilala niya na ako ng matagal at kumandong po siya sa akin.
How does Project Kuna prepare for a rescue operation?
Mostly po ng rescues namin, ganun talaga nire-report po sa amin o minsan kami mismo yung nakadadaanan namin o yung kakilala po namin na dadaanan. May mga hit and run din po kaming mga rescues, meron din yung mga inabuso o yung may mga parang malalaking hiwa o puro galis po. Wala naman pong parang training talaga. More of self-taught lang. During the process, kumbaga yung first rescue, second rescue, third rescue, doon ko po natututunan kung ano yung mga dapat i-prepare o ano yung mga dapat gawin pag mag-approach ng animal o ng dog or ng cat. So, madalas po, meron kaming parang dalang mga gamit, mga tali na pwede ilagay sa leeg, then yung cage na paglalagyan po, and then the muzzle po para maiwasan na makakagat siya, and then a big towel po para pag kailangan kuhanin yung dog kahit na makagat kami, medyo may iwasan po yung pag-puncture sa skin namin. Papakiramdaman mo lang yung dog. Sa una po, medyo matagal. Talagang, kumbaga, kukunin mo yung loob ng dog or ng cat para at least pag kinuha mo siya, hindi siya mangangagat. Medyo mahirap po mag-rescue ng cat kasi mas mabilis sila at kaya nilang, kumbaga, mag-climb po sa mga walls na hindi naman namin kaya abutin.
Every day, G and her team receive numerous messages seeking their help to rescue animals from all over. For G, it can be overwhelming.
Every day, sobrang dami. Siguro 100 to 200 po yung nagme-message sa amin o nagtatag sa Facebook, Instagram, siya TikTok. Ganun po kadami ang dogs and cats na kailangan talagang tulungan. Yung resources po namin limited, lalo na po kami pag nag-rescue talaga. Ang diretso po talaga ng nire-rescue namin is sa veterinary clinic po talaga para mapacheck sa viruses. Madaming times po na na-overwhelm ako. Pagising ko po, madalas makikita ko sa notifications ko parang mga duguan na dog o parang sinaksak na dog. Parang nakakabahala po since parang magsa-start pa lang po ako ng day, parang ganun na po yung nakikita ko pero hindi po talaga may iwasan.
At 27, G. Antonio has taken on the heavy responsibility of helping animals. What has she sacrificed personally to pursue this advocacy?
Biggest sacrifice ko po is my time. Whole day ko po talaga siyang, yung mind ko nandun. Kahit na nag-work ako sa profession ko po, yung mind ko hindi ko pa rin naalis dun sa rescue organization namin.
One would wonder why G and her volunteers continue this work, knowing how physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially draining it can be. For G, seeing a stray animal transform into a happy, healthy pet is something you can't put a price on.
Before I started with Kuna po, before din ako nagka-dog, I was diagnosed po with depression tsaka anxiety. That time. And yung dogs ko talaga yung nag-help sa akin to overcome po doon sa sa condition ko na yun. Umaling naman po ako and ngayon po pag medyo nagko-consult pa din po ako with my psychiatrist po.
On filing cases against animal abusers, G has this to say.
Hopefully, makakuha po kami ng mga volunteer na lawyers.
How can the public support Project Kuna?
Kung gusto po nila mag-adopt, pwede po sila mag-message sa Facebook o sa ibang social media accounts po namin. Kasi whenever people adopt, pag may nag-adopt po ng one dog, meron din pong space na nafi-free up para mag-rescue po kami ulit. For the monetary and in-kind donations po, mga dog food, cat food, dog bowls, mga cages po, you can donate it po via Facebook.
Asked what she wanted to say to the general public, G. Antonio said,
Kung pet owner po kayo, please make sure na responsible pet owners po kayo. Have them vaccinated, feed them properly, have them spayed or neutered, and wag niyo po hayaan sila na makawala sa labas na mag-isa.
G. Antonio is a shining example that age is no barrier to making a profound difference in the lives of voiceless animals. Through her dedication, she has become a powerful force for change, demonstrating that one person can spark a movement that transforms entire communities. Her story proves that the support of both families and strangers is crucial to the success of this mission to give hope to animals in desperate need.
This is where the voices of the voiceless are heard. The Advocates, Empowering Voices, hosted by Rochelle Rubio on 104.3 The Capital.
In this age of modern technology, it is a harsh reality that there are still areas in the country without electricity. Children walk miles to reach their schools, and despite the advancements, children in the countryside still face unequal opportunities.
But there's a group determined to change this. They are called I Am Mika, making impact through kind actions. We spoke to their director and treasurer, Mr. Roberto Alip Jr.
I Am Mika, yung Mika stands for making impact through kind actions. Okay, just so everybody understands. Kasi tinatanong kami palagi, are you Mika? No, kasi I Am Mika kami. But yeah, I Am Mika was founded in March of last year, 2024.
I Am Mika aims to give these children a fighting chance through education. Part of their mission, to provide modern learning tools, empowering children with an education that matches the times.
Ang priority kasi namin, we want to give a fighting chance for children, especially in education, na makasabay sila sa mga estudyante na nasa lungsod dahil sila wala silang kuryente, walang computer, walang tubig na mainom, no? Naglalakad sila papasok, wala silang school supplies, no? So mas gusto namin na mabigyan sila ng chance na makapantay sa ibang mahirap na kasi mag-aral eh. Kung naglalakad ka, wala kang baon, gutom ka, no? So mahirap mag-aral. So gusto namin, bigyan namin sila ng makakagaan sa pag-aaral nila.
Barely a year old, I Am Mika has already changed the lives of many.
Yung advocacy talaga namin is para sa mga bata. And hindi lang basta para sa mga bata. We want to serve the underserved. Kung titignan nyo yung projects namin, malalayo yung projects namin. Kasi sila yung hindi naaabot ng tulong. Actually, madaling mag-donate o gumawa ng project sa cities. Yung mga malalayong lugar, hindi naaabot.
They've provided school supplies, computers, solar-powered electricity, water filtration systems, and more. Bobet Alip and his team have extended their assistance to schools in Masbate and Samar.
One of the most impactful was our project in Catbalogan, Samar, sa Kabugawan Elementary School. Yung school na yan was built 1950s pa yata. The principal sent us a video message appealing for help. Gusto nilang magkaroon ng computers, magkaroon nila ng laptops for the teachers, smart TVs. Kasi they were left out by the Department of Education. Kasi yung DepEd, namigay sila ng mga computers, smart TVs sa mga schools. Pero they were left out. I don't know for what reason. But I think they were supposed to have a new location. So parang inaantay yung location na bago sila bigyan ng kung whatever na binibigay nila sa ibang schools, no? But it's been years, no? So wala. So nag-appeal na sa amin yung principal. And when we were in Samar in last August, actually, hindi sila dapat kasama dun sa projects na ilo-launch namin sa Samar. Yung grupo namin, sabi namin, we have extra funds. Following day, nagpadala kami ng 15 sets ng computers, several laptops, and I think 8 55-inch smart TVs. And during that time, kasama namin yung mga donors namin na Germans. Nakita nila how the school really needed what we were giving them. So sila yung turo. Ang mga Germans, tinuruan yung mga bata how to use the computer. Tuntua sila na yung mga anak nila makaka-experience na-experience ng ibang bata sa ibang lugar. And after that, I talked with the principal. Sinabi ko, if kung pwede, kasi we don't usually demand anything from the schools, no, or from our beneficiaries. So, nakiusap kami dun sa teacher na, as a principal, na kung may time pa yung mga teachers, like Saturday, 1 hour Saturday, 1 hour Sunday maybe, na yung mga parents maturuan din. So, yun, ginagawa nila yun. So, we're very appreciative dun sa school na yun na they're also helping the parents. Another project na malaking impact sa amin. Well, not sa amin. Gusto namin malaking impact dun sa beneficiary and the community. We went to 7 island schools in Samar. Ang tawag nila dun sa island is Sierra. So, there 7 or 8 islands yun na may mga elementary schools. So, we brought them several thousands of kits for school supplies, no, na na-appreciate talaga ng mga bata na ngayon lang sila nakatanggap ng tulong na ganong kalaki.
Their efforts are changing lives in some of the most remote areas in the Philippines.
Ang Masbate kasi hindi sila connected sa national grid, so wala silang kuryente na coming from outside. Lahat ng kuryente sa Masbate is generated in Masbate. And since time immemorial, talagang problema na yung kuryente sa Masbate. Panahon pa ng mga lolo, gano'n na talaga. Walang kuryente. Kung may kuryente man, madalas brownout. After nung August project namin sa Samar, nakita ng isang teacher from Lantangan, that's barangay in Mandaon, Masbate. Sumulat sila sa amin na sabi nila kami school namin walang kuryente. Binigyan kami ng 2 TV ng DepEd pero wala kaming kuryente, so hindi namin nagagamit. So I went there, tinignan namin. After 2 weeks, binigyan namin sila ng solar power. So the whole school now has electricity via solar power at saka mayroon silang battery. So kahit walang araw, they can still use their computers. Binigyan din namin sila ng computers, 4, tas laptops and TVs and yung iPads. And you can see the difference now on how they are able to teach the learners better.
In Lantangan Elementary School, thanks to Mika's water filter project, learners and educators now have potable water and teachers don't need to buy mineral water anymore. With their extra funds, they can now afford to provide meals for their students.
Paborito ko yung Lantangan Elementary School. Iba yung support ng mga teachers sa mga bata. Makikita mo talaga kung how eager they are to provide better education for kids.
Proper nutrition now fuels their brains and physical development. In Masbate, 4 schools now have solar-powered electricity, bringing light to places once in the dark.
Lahat ng ngayon sila, buong school may kuryente. Solar power yan, with battery. Ang gusto lang namin talaga, diretsong tulong. Na hindi kami hingi ng kapalit. We don't even want to be recognized. Yung bata, magpapadala ng video sa amin na nagpapasalamat. Yung teacher, nagpapasalamat sa amin. They continue to post their progress. We want to help or to serve the underserved. Sa school, kasi ganito yan. We really don't. Yung iba kasi, tinitingnan nila kung itong amount ng aming donation, ilan ba yung makikinabang. Hindi kami masyado tumitingin dun. So kahit na 100, 300 students, yung donation namin sa Lantangan, for example, is about 500,000 pesos. With only less than 300 o less than 200 learners. Sila nga yung mas nangangailangan kasi para makasabay sila sa ibang schools. So, hindi kami masyado tumitingin sa dami ng beneficiaries initially. Pero makikita mo yung effect sa community, sa mga teachers. Right now, the school is participating in a reading project of DepEd, tsaka yung math project nila. They can now participate better kasi meron silang tools. May kuryente na sila.
Yes.
No? Dati, pag bandang hapon na, ang dilim na ng mga classrooms, mainit, no? Malamok. No? Tsaka nag-snowball eh. Nung nakita nila na may kuryente na, marami nag-donate ng electric fan.
In Catbalogan, Samar, Ayamika created a digital hub, offering training for virtual assistant jobs to students and professionals alike.
Wala naman silang place, wala silang computer, wala silang internet. So, nagtayo kami ng VA o digital hub sa Catbalogan. We have 25 computers there with Starlink internet. This weekend, I'll be in Samar. Our group will be in Samar to launch the first general VA course na libre.
When asked about his motivation, Bobet shares that his mother is his inspiration.
You can help with your time, with your talent, and with your money. What motivates me? Mga bata, yung mga matatanda, at saka may masakit.
Growing up, his family instilled in him the importance of helping others in need. Bobet's team is grateful for the support of their sponsors who help make their projects a reality. Ayamika believes that no child should be left behind in the fight for a brighter future. With every small step, they make a big impact.
Papasalamat muna ako sa co-directors ko sa Ayamika. Tatlo kasi kami dyan. Si Miss Erlinda Oria at saka si Miss Isabelita Kapati. Okay. Pasalamat din kami sa aming major donor sa ngayon, which is Help Alliance. Sa Frankfurt, Germany sila based, and they're connected with Lufthansa Airlines in Germany. Kay Miss Laura Singles, who is the portfolio manager for the Philippines, and the 3 project coordinators of Help Alliance for the Philippines. Unang-una, si Mr. George Davantes. Pinoy siya. He works with Lufthansa Airlines. Si Lemon or Lemuel de los Reyes, who's with Lufthansa Philippines, at saka si Miss Isabelita Kapati from Lufthansa Philippines din. Sa mga makakapanood nito at makakarinig, huwag tayo pong mag-atubiling tumulong kahit na kapiraso lang. Huwag na natin antayin na yumaman tayo. Para, marami kasing ganun. You know? Pag nagkapera ako, tutulong ako. Actually, sabi ko nga, tatlong kailangan dyan. Time, talent, and money. You don't have necessarily to have money to help. No. By listening to people in need, nakatulong ka na doon. Diba? By volunteering, nakatulong ka na. No. So, para sa mga nakikinig, visit our website, iamika.org, at saka yung Facebook page namin na Ayamika. We help build lives. And check out what we do. Maybe you can volunteer. We have many volunteers in Samar. We have volunteers in Masbate. We encourage you to volunteer. Kahit hindi sa amin, kahit sa ibang organization. Or even form your own group. No? To help. Huwag nyo lang kalimutan na hindi lang Metro Manila ang Pilipinas. Mas marami ang nasa labas. So with that, I hope and pray that we will be able to continue what we're doing.
Whether it's rescuing a stray animal or providing solar-powered electricity to a remote school, these advocates are proving that change begins with one step, and it's a step that can transform lives. A huge thank you to Ms. G. Antonio and Mr. Roberto Alip Jr. for their incredible work, and to all of you for tuning in. Remember, you too can make a difference, no matter how small the action. I'm Rochelle Rubio, and this has been The Advocates, Empowering Voices. Until next time, keep advocating for change.